far out. But then we can have silage developing, and then once we start using that one, we can start dumping stuff there for more silage. Okay, I am going to... Again, nothing for sale. I want a windrower somewhere. And I am thinking, going to go with that one. I could go with these. These are cheaper. Well, that said that. It's 2.5 meters, 20 horsepower. That is, please back up, 100 horsepower, 3 meters. This is negligible horsepower, 35 horsepower, and 8.5 meters. It's got a good working width, and it's not one of these, so it's just a different thing. So I'm thinking of buying that. We'll buy that now. And balers. See, another thing is we might be able to get away with using forage harvesters. That has variable width. That's square. That's 125. So that's 99. I could buy that, and that's all I need to buy. But we are going to lease some stuff later. So I think we'll wait till we get to I need to bale now, and we'll lease the Impress Pro or whatever it is. Actually, go back. Oh, the Kubota is a that's square. That's just a straight round one. That's also a straight round one. And this is a fast bale like that one. So 125 centimeter bales, but you can just drive, and it will auto unload and auto everything. But depending on your windrow depth, it may limit your top speed. And drive on the proper side. And really what I should be, I don't know. Obviously I like to have bigger bales because it's less stacking and less trips to market. But even so, maybe just going with a small 125 wrapper. Plant, obviously I'm going to lease I think we'll lease a subsoiler for the grass field, and it's going to get upset with me. That was the other thing. Okay, so with precision farming, you get a bonus if you use a direct drill, but you can only get a direct drill, I think, well, at least at the size of farm we're talking about. The only direct drills I can get only plant cereals, soybeans, canola. And if I want to plant corn or cotton, sunflowers, I need a planter, and there are no direct planters at the sort of horsepower range that we're currently looking for. So you're always going to be stuffed there because you have to cultivate the field, and cultivating the field kind of messes things up. Now I think you can use a shallow cultivator, but again, Shallow cultivators require have a larger operating width and a higher horsepower. Oh dear. So the other option may be, I don't know, we're probably going to lease cultivating equipment at least initially, just until we figure out which one harms us the least amount. Possibly not worry too much about doing the direct drilling at this stage. And if we do things like oilseed radish, you have to cultivate that. Now, early testing with precision farming, which I've viewed on YouTube, does, at least the initial release, cultivating a field or even ploughing a field and then just using a direct drill, you got the direct drill environmental score, and it completely ignored that you ploughed the field. But ploughing the field doesn't make for weeds, so you can't do weed treatment, so you lost out on the environmental score for weed treatment. I think the thing is with the planter is there is only one direct drill planter, and it's like quad track size, so not a particularly friendly piece of equipment. Well, take a check in the store, and maybe I'll have to look, but I'm thinking of putting a dry stone wall up in front of my yard as well. So the housing is not going to be attached to the yard. So if I didn't like that house, I could buy the house that's up the road next to the ag farm. Okay, well, we got a little time while it's raining. I'm going to turn the blinky lights off and probably the... Oops. There we go. Okay, we'll turn the engine off. We will jump out so that we're not putting time on things. So planters. Now I'll start looking at the planter that I was so this one offers the possibility to seed directly without cultivating and is 350 horsepower and is the standard planter crops. This one too, 340 horsepower. Back up please. Oh, seriously. This one is not a direct planter and only does the normal. That one. Getting annoyed with my mouse, I must admit. The blue drive, 300. Cavernaland suggests wheel weights, but that's it. The Lemkin, the Kuhn, wheel weights, the Amazon, no. Yeah, so for planters, we are looking at 300 horsepower for a direct planter. Right, so, and that's where I'm coming to from the, maybe I need to look up that planter and add it to the list of planters in game. The interesting thing is these have a power harrow planter, so you buy that, you can take the power harrow out and harrow the field, and then you can attach the seeder to it. The power harrow doesn't work independently of the seeder, which is kind of silly. I should be able to turn on the power harrow and power harrow the field and drop seed in behind it. But it doesn't let me do that. I have to go out with them separately. That's the same. That's the same. And I think it's not until you get here, 210 horsepower, which technically our tractor could do if I updated it, before I can do a direct seed. But seeders, definitely, a lot more seeders are direct seed capable. Oh, come on, please. But then, on the price range we're at, I thought one of the seeders actually seeded everything, but maybe not. These things, definitely not direct. That, 240 horsepower. This one is a direct seeder, and 3 meters. And I think, yeah, that's a possibility. This one is a little bit wider, 4.5 meters. Plants all the stuff. The thing is, both of these need or do fertilizer while they're planting. That has a good capacity, actually. I kind of like that one. It doesn't fold up, so it doesn't fit down the roads too well. And then this one, not a direct seeder. But as a starter, this is possibly quite good, but you're gonna need a low loader. Actually, you've got the question of, is it wider or longer? It's going to be a problem to get back to the farm. But for this year, maybe we just go with the Great Plains. Lease that. I want to plant barley in the field that had the sunflowers, and potential, and obviously grass in the grass field. That's my tractor. There's stuff. How long is it going to rain for? Oh, it's going to stop soon. It's going to rain on the last day of November, none tomorrow. So I guess we'll skip through to about 10 o'clock. So yeah, and as I said, you know, I need a direct planter. Once I decided I'm going to do direct, I'm going to plant plantable crops, and at that point I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go out on the mod hub and see if I can find one, because they do exist in real life. One of the YouTube farmers I watch has that particular John Deere model. Potatoes. And any moment now it should stop raining, and we should probably leave it half a day before we go and do anything. But with a 3-day month, technically every game day is 10 real days. So if you wait 15 minutes, you probably waited in real world terms about 2 days. So the whole thing of, well, I need to, I'll mow it now and I'll leave it until tomorrow before I ted it. It's sort of, well, technically you don't have to do that, because while you might do that in the real world, in farm sim world, there's only 3 days a month or 2 days a month or whatever. You kind of used it all up already. Now I did adjust this to mow. Because this mower will do the thing. I can't remember what it's called. Mulch. So if it's mulch, back up again, turn it on. There we go. And yes, we have a row of grass behind us. So now the idea is obviously once we've harvested, we adjust this to mulch, and once we've mulched all the fields, we set it straight back to mowing. One of the other things I need to try out is grass field rollers. Base game, they add a level of fertilization to a grass field. So technically speaking, you mow a grass field, that adds 1 level of fertilizer. If you use a grass roller on a grass field, you're done. The field is good, but the issues we have now is because it's all about nitrogen and what have you. I don't know what effect a grass roller has on a grass field. Have they converted it so a grass roller is kind of like a field roller, where you plant your field, you roll the field, you get a 5% production or yield bonus? And that comes back to the whole, if I mulch the field and roll the field, that's plus 5%. If I have weeds on the field, that can be minus 25%, I think. But since the maximum yield you can get from a field is based on the soil type, so on the best soil you get plus 125, or 20 is just plus 25 yield bonus. Does it matter if I've mulched and what have you and have bees and it's a canola field, etc, etc, etc? Does it then matter if I completely spray the field with herbicide and just get a minus 5, instead of getting minus 20% for weeds, I think it is, I get minus 15% because I kill the weeds with herbicide. But so long as all of the additives that I'm doing, like the nitrogen content and everything else, may effectively be a plus 50%, but the soil only lets you have plus 25. So being from a wargaming background, that's actually a thing where you can, here are all the modifiers that you can add to something and subtract from something, but your final result is in the range of 0.8 to plus 1.25. So you can have adders that give you plus 100, but after the plus 25 they don't count anymore. And again, I don't know, it's just speculation on my part. At times like this, I want GPS. See, what you can do is something like this. And if I had GPS, I could position this tractor far enough over that that piece that I'm missing is actually the width of the mower. Although this isn't exactly straight, so I'm going to cut this way and break that off. But then you feel like, oh, I'm really wasting my time just going down this stretch, which isn't even the width of the tractor. Ah. I suppose since we cut the field in half, we could do it like this. That works. So does it allow you to get over plus 125, or are you still limited to plus 25, and you're really now playing a which mods do I want, or which modifiers do I want to encourage in my fields in order to get the best yield, but the best yield has a cap? That's kind of where I'm going with this particular thought process, is just okay. So I think because we're mowing this field now, the plan is to chop up, plow it up and reseed it. I want to harvest this field completely for the next full year. We probably won't be getting animals therefore until year 3, or at least not cows. See, that's where sheep's kind of an advantage. Make a few bales of hay, which we had at the end of that contract, and then we can just say, okay, that's all done. How about here? And yeah, just play with it that way. So the meadow roller for grasslands, the mulcher for fields. Okay, because the meadow, the difference between the meadow roller and the regular roller was the regular roller, you used it on arable fields immediately after, well, you used it on any field immediately after seeding, and it gives you a 2.5% yield bonus. The grass roller, or the meadow roller, we call it that, just added a level of fertilization. So, base game, I could just get the meadow roller out here. This field would be light blue because I just cut it, and running the roller over it just makes it dark blue. 100% fertilization. Now, the difference with that is, obviously we're not adding levels of fertilization getting plus 27% yield bonus. But the meadow roller, after you've cut a grass field, you can either put slurry or manure, liquid or solid fertilizer, or meadow roll it, and you've done sufficient to max out the fertilization bonus. Whereas the the sort of the field roller and the, what's the other thing, and mulching just magically affect yield. They're not part of a shared modifier. That bit there, that's a pain. Swing through there. I don't feel that has been too bad of a... We're still within the mower width, so I don't feel like I've wasted a pass doing what we're doing. Obviously this end bit just a little bit too wide for the mower, I think. Maybe not. Still, we've got to head back down to the field, so we'll call it not a waste of time. I like this mower because it's versatile. I don't think it's very realistic for a UK farm. Typically it would be used to mulch the area around a field so that it doesn't get overgrown with grass. It occurs to me, I wonder if that windrow could be hauled by the Land Rover. Just a thought. And yes, not well lined up there. Another thing I might look at is possibly not at the get-go, but as time passes, replacing some of the sheds in this yard with sheds with doors.